there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm thinking we go dark. Since October is right around the corner and I am completely feeling those fall vibes, I thought it would be really fun to read primarily dark romance throughout the month of October. So I'm thinking dark, forbidden, taboo, you know, all the naughty that we love to rave about around here. So I've gone ahead and compiled a list of books that I'm going to choose from in the month of October. Now, by no means do I think that I'm going to get through all of these books, but I wanted to give myself enough of a variety so that I can kind of pick and choose what I want to read based on the mood that I'm in. I've also put in some fluffer books, if you will, but I wanted to stay on the spooky theme. So they're not considered dark romance, but they do have that spooky aspect to them. So if you're thinking of going a little dark or spooky for this October, stay tuned. Maybe there's something on this list that interests you or that you haven't read. But without further ado, let's talk all things tall, dark, and forbidden. Okay, I am so excited about this. There are books on this list that I've had on my TBR for quite some time, but I knew that I wanted to do this dark read for October, so I've been holding myself off, and now that it's finally here, I'm chomping at the bit. I just cannot wait. That being said, I have to start with Amo Jones. I have missed my Dark Queen these past 2 months, but I knew, again, that I was going to do this read, and she's amazing. She does dark so well. What better way to start off October than with the Queen of Dark herself? I am so excited, and I wanted to knock a couple of her standalones off my list so that I can jump into Midnight Mayhem at some point in the future. So starting off that list with Amo Jones, I have Antichrist. This is about Meraki, who seems to live 2 different lives, and Nico, who is the newest leader of an MC group. When Nico comes riding back into town, Meraki must hide the darkest parts of herself, especially from Nico. I mean, we've got MC group. Need I say more? Moving on. Next, I have Manik. This centers around Beat and Manik. Beat loves music, especially jazz. Manik is top DJ in his field. One night he spots Beat from across the room at a club and decides he must have her, even if she isn't his to have. And then finally, for Amo Jones, I have Flip Trick. This is about Amethyst. She is a badass who loves to skateboard and flip tricks. She's an unconventional good girl until college, when she meets a bit of a wild girl and befriends her. And then she has her first one-night stand, but that can't be the end of it because she leaves her phone at his place, and when he starts texting her best friend, she ignores him. That is until she meets her mom's new boyfriend and realizes her one-night stand is her new stepbrother. I don't know why, but maybe it's the cover, but this is kind of giving me Six Tryst vibes by Penelope Douglas. But nonetheless, I am super excited about these 3, and I'm pretty confident that I can say that these will more than likely be showing up on my October wrap-up. Next up, we have Gothikana by RuNyx. This is a dark academia romance. Yes, please. Corvina is an outcast and has just lost her mother when she is accepted into the mysterious University of Varenmore. Then we have Vad, who is a part-time professor, and Corvina catches his eye, even though she shouldn't have. But there's also this mystery. People have disappeared every 5 years for over 100 years, and Corvina is getting clues to unraveling it. And then apparently they start to work together. Next up, we have The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Now, this is one of the books that I'm going to consider one of my fluffers for this month. Sarah is a successful defense attorney married to Adam, a struggling writer. Adam is bored with his life and grows restless as Sarah is always working, so he goes to their lake house where he has an affair with a woman named Kelly. But when Kelly is murdered, Sarah must take on her biggest case yet, defending her husband. I mean, I don't really know how I would feel about that. You're bored. You're pissed off because I'm more successful than you. So your solution is to go to our lake house, have an affair, and when said affair ends up dead, come back to your successful wife and say, please help me. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that, but it sounds really good. Next up, we have Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. Now, I do know that this is a reverse harem. First up, we have our Vipers, which are Ryder, Garrett, Kenzo, and Diesel. And then we have Roxy. Now, her father ran up a debt that he couldn't pay. with the Vipers and subsequently sold his daughter to them as payment. So now they own her. But Roxy won't take this line down. She is a bit of a badass in her own right. I am loving that because we all know that I like me a badass heroine. So I'm here for that. Yes, ma'am. The reverse harem trope, I'm still on the fence about. I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't think that I've read enough to fully have formed an opinion about it. So I am interested to see how I feel about this. But it does sound pretty good. Next up, we have Misbehaved by Charleigh Rose. So this is about Remington Stringer, or Remy. Now, she is not like most girls. She's outspoken, brazen, and wants nothing more than to escape the hellhole that she calls home. When Remy gets the opportunity to attend the best private school in the state during her senior year of high school, she jumps at the chance. Then she meets Mr. James, who's ornery, aloof, and totally irresistible. Most girls would swoon in secrecy. Most girls would doodle his name with hearts in their notebook. But Remy Stringer has never been like most girls. So I'm thinking teacher-student, age gap. I love me a good age gap. Next up, we have Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. Now, this is probably another one that I'm most definitely going to read. This one I feel like is going to be a little bit of a toss-up because I have seen it around, and I feel like it's almost a 50-50 of whether you like it or don't. But nevertheless, I am excited for this. So it says, when Cora attends her sister's birthday party, she expects at most a hangover or a walk of shame. She doesn't anticipate a stolen wallet, leaving her stranded and dependent on Dean, who is her arch nemesis, an ultimate thorn in her side. And she really doesn't anticipate waking up in shackles in a madman's basement. To make matters worse, Dean shares a space in his own set of chains. After 15 years of teasing, insults, and practical jokes, the ultimate joke seems to be on them. The two, who always thought they'd end up killing each other, must now work together if they want to survive. But Cora and Dean have no idea their abductor has a plan for them. A plan that will alter the course of their relationship, blur the line between love and hate, and shackle them together with far more than chains. Yes, please. So we've got, what, enemies to lovers? Interesting. Next up, I have Owned by the Badman by Hayley Faiman. Now, this is book 1 in a series, but it says that it can be read as a standalone. So we have Hayley, who knows nothing of love. Raised to be no more than the ballerina her mother could never be, she eats, sleeps, and breathes dance. Then, when she is blindsided by the news that her parents have arranged for her to be married, she does as she always does. Exactly as she is told. Although not ideal, Hayley still hopes to find love. But her new husband, Maxim, is not a good guy, and he loves the fact that he has something so innocent, pure, and is his. Next up, I have Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. This is about Father Magnus Falk. He is the head teacher of a Catholic boarding school. He suppresses his cravings, and he becomes a priest to control his impulses. He is never tempted by a student until her. Then enters Tinsley Constantine. She challenges his rules and awakens his dark nature. He wants her. This obviously is going to be more on the taboo side and probably a little bit controversial. And I'm really excited about it. Alrighty guys, so next up I have a trilogy. I have The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I actually only have the first 2 books here, but you have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, A Good Girl, Bad Blood, and then the last one is As Good as Dead. So in this you have Senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Sal, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to what happened that day. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation. But soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent. And the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. This clearly has October vibes written all over it. I am so excited to read this trilogy. I've heard such great things about it, so I'm excited. Next, we have Prisoner by Skye Warren. It is a duology. So we have our heroine who teaches a prison writing class. She is mesmerized by one certain prisoner who shows up to her class and is brutally honest. She can't seem to stop thinking about him. However, he is a caged animal, and it looks like he may use her to escape. Then we have Pennies by Pepper Winters. This is a trilogy. We have our heroine, who was a college psych major 2 years ago, but all that changes when she is stolen and sold, or trafficked. She is beaten and bruised, but refuses to break. Then, Elder Prest arrives and is more ruthless than her owner and wants her for reasons she doesn't understand. Next up, I have another trilogy. This is the Ricketti Dynasty by Bree. Book 1 is called The Bloody Bride. In between the towering skyscrapers of the Windy City, there lives a dark underworld where loyalty, violence, and blood are all that matters. Sophia always knew her marriage would be arranged and out of her hands, but when her husband-to-be is none other than the notorious Alessandro, the godless Ricketti, prince of the Ricketti family and capo of Chicago, she finds herself falling into a nightmare. The arranged marriage begins bloody, and the violence does not end on their wedding day. Sophia is forced to navigate her new family, her grief, and the brutal world she knows, as well as dealing with her dangerous yet intriguing husband. Secrets and threats surround her from the feds and criminal world alike, including the strange occurrences surrounding her sister's death. I mean, we knew that I was going to throw in a little Mafia, right? And there is more. Next, we have the Fallen Men series by Giana Darling. Now, there are 7 books so far in this series. They are companion novels, so you can read them out of order. Think that they do recommend that you do read them in order because they are interconnected MC erotic romances. But if you prefer to pick and choose what you read, you can absolutely do so. It starts with book 1, which is Lessons in Corruption. And this is a teacher-student romance in an age gap with an older woman and a younger man. Next, I have the Born in Blood Mafia Chronicles by Cora Reilly. There are 8 books so far, and it starts with Born in Blood. This is about Aria, who knew that she would marry Luca since she was 15 when her parents arranged it to promote peace within their 2 mafia rival families. Now the day she dreads is here. She's 18, and it's her wedding day. Well, what do you know? Another Mafia, and I've heard great things about this series, so I'm excited. And there you have it. That is my list for books that I'm going to choose from in October. However, I do have a couple honorable mentions that I just wanted to sprinkle in there just in case. I have The Hollow Heathens by Nicole Fiorina. Now, this is part of a series, but it can be read as a standalone. I have A Rune of Roses by K.F. Breene. This is book 1 of a trilogy. It's a dark, sexy Beauty and the Beast retelling, and apparently it has a strong MC character. We know how I like those. And then I also found this on one of my shelves yesterday when I was rearranging a couple things and thought, this is right up October's alley. And it is Stalking Jack the Ripper. This says, he murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunts those of us who hunted him down. But despite all these horrors, in the end, I could not deny it. I was the girl who loved Jack the Ripper. And there you have it, my spooky, dark, and forbidden reads for October. Is there something on this list that you've read and you think is a must? I have to read it for October. Please let me know down below. Or if I just missed something and you think it should be on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You got some good spooky or forbidden recommendations. Let me know if you're going to read anything that's off this list. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not currently subscribed, what are you doing? Let's hang out some more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Happy reading!